everybody? It's your boy Pitts, Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie TV, coming to you live. Listen, it's going down, all things HBCUs. And who else better to start it off with them Bowie State Bulldogs? We coming to you, Bowie State Bulldogs, total access. We got the Morgan State Bears. Listen, all HBCUs information, all HBCU news, sporting events, updates. You get it live here with Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie TV, Comcast Channel 77, Verizon Channel 11 is going down. Don't you miss a beat. Listen, it's only the beginning because it's early still. And we're gonna be here all day. All day. What's going on, everybody? You know what it is. I am your host, Pitts on Push Sports Talk Radio, Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie TV, coming to you live yet again. This is a special one because, as you all know, HBCU Legacy Bowl is around the corner, and who else than the best to have us here to talk HBCU football and HBCU Legacy Bowl other than Steve Wyche, the NFL Network's very own chief national reporter.
Terrence, what's good, man? Good seeing you again. Hope all is well. Hope you're thawed out there on the East Coast. Appreciate you having me back on.
I definitely appreciate you for taking this time with me again, Steve. I know it's been busy. You've been bouncing from Denver, in LA. So I understand it. I'm not gonna hold you long today, so we can jump right into it. And before I jump into it, definitely want to shout out NFL Network. NFL Network provides more than 60 hours of live Super Bowl week coverage beginning Monday, February 2nd. And you know what's going down this year between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, how about that, man? What a matchup. You got a Patriots team, won 4 games last year, was real all over the place. Goes to show you how quickly things can flip if you get the right leadership, the right quarterback. And then the Seahawks, who look like they look real now. And Sam Darnold, it's no longer a fluke, man. He's leading them to victories. They're not winning despite him. They're winning because of him.
Absolutely. And I definitely got some NFL questions for you. I'm going to save those for the end for you because I already seen you in Denver pregame looking cold, but stylish as ever. So we'll jump right into it, man. Let's talk about HBCU football season this year. How would you assess the overall performance of the teams in the MEAC, SWAC, SEAC, and the CIAA?
Well, I mean, first off, you got to, have that dividing line between, the MEAC and the SWAC and the SEAC and CIAA. But I want to start with the CIAA and Curtis Allen, the running back down at Virginia Union, 2,000 yards. Yeah. Right. Think about that. You've got Jada Byers there for 2 years, the leading, one of the top rushers in all Division II. He leaves. Coach Alvin Parker is like, well, it's going to be life AB. We'll see how we are after Byers. Here comes Curtis Allen, and he just tears it up. Rushes for more than 2,000 yards, a big running back. Very eager to see how he performs at the Legacy Bowl. If he runs well, I think he's got an opportunity to get a shot at the next level because seeing him in person, he's real. Physically, he meets the specs. It's just all going to be determined on how well he runs. But you look, what Virginia Union was able to do this year with the Johnson C. Smith. Coming in there, you got the schools coming in doing their thing, CIAA and the SEAC, and then now we go to the MEAC and SWAC. I mean, what can you say about what Deshaun Jackson did up at Delaware State? Just an absolutely fantastic job. He's got some talent. Came in there, had to really put together a really good staff. Just really got that program back on the map. But when you come for the king, you best not miss. And Shennis Berry and those South Carolina
yeah,
they're not having it. I love, after they won the Celebration Bowl, when he's just like, hey, when I was on those conference calls every Monday, people want to talk to Mike Vick and Deshaun Jackson the whole time. I'm just kind of sitting back here like, okay, they do have to play us. Yeah. And so that was, really, really proud of him, really proud of the Bulldogs to win, the National Black College Championship at the Celebration Bowl. And then you got Prairie View.
Yeah.
I mean, man, that's a good football team. Like Jackson State, they had the reputation. They got a ton of talented players. But what Prairie View was able to do, come together and be exciting, ultra physical, really, a big transfer portal team, just to come in there and do what they did, to compete like they did, to win the SWAC, it says a lot because not only Jackson State was good, but Alabama State was right there, man. Eddie Robinson
Absolutely.
had a fantastic team. They should be great again next year. So just on all different levels, we can't forget about the Tennessee States of the world and A&Ts of the world. But, at the very top of what we saw all across Black college football was very encouraging once again.
Yeah. And, Celebration Bowl, what a game, what a game. First it came out, looked like Prairie View was going to blow wide open. And Coach Berry, and that's the one thing about Coach Berry and his teams, and I kind of said it a couple weeks prior to when they played North Carolina Central, and North Carolina Central jumped out big on them. And it was a back and forth game. But one thing about Coach Berry's team is, they are very disciplined.
Yep.
Right. And then you go the very next week is what you really would call the MEAC championship, when you had Dell State and Coach Berry in South Carolina State, and just that game and the atmosphere, that was championship atmosphere. Watching Coach D-Jack, and shout out to them, to Coach D-Jack and Slab First offense. They were running all over the field all year. But listen, that game, when you talk about the excitement, it showed the talent, it showed the competition, it showed the discipline level between Prairie View and South Carolina State. I think, to me, that was the pinnacle of what college football does look like, that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to see every time.
And I love the fact what you said about discipline. That's one thing Shannon Sperry has. People see, the hype. He's the constant hype man. Right, yeah. Who was the dude who was with Busta Rhymes all the time? Papoose or whatever.
Papoose.
Right, he's the hype man, but his teams are disciplined. There's significant talent all over the place at South Carolina State. But the fact that, you may get out of them, you may punch them in the mouth, but it's a 15-round fight. Yeah. And they are going to be there. We saw that against North Carolina Central, how they had to hang on to that game to the very end. So, salute to them. He's gonna keep that ball rolling for as long as he's there, because Shannon Sperry keeps on winning ball games the way he has that, at South Carolina State and the Benedict, someone's going to come and grab him.
Yeah, I love his demeanor, man. When he talks, he has that. And I remember at the end of the game when he talked about that, and he kind of alluded to that even during the MEAC day when they came out and everybody met at Morgan State before they went to the Baltimore Ravens Stadium, and they was like, hey, we're still here. Don't overlook, South Carolina State. I know we have some great NFL talent coming in, which is great for the conference, which is great for HBCU football. But don't forget, we are the reigning MEAC champions. So definitely shout out to him. And some of the other things I like, when I look at the MEAC and the CIAA, because I really haven't been able to get to a SEAC or a SWAC game or a Tennessee State game. But like you mentioned with Curtis Allen, the talent with him, or Malik Hunter, the wide receiver from Virginia State, or Jamal from Bowie State DN, or Sam Graham from Bowie State.
Sam Graham is a dude, man.
When I tell you,
he is a dude.
His demeanor, and he's so off the field, he don't really say much, but on the field, he brings it.
Oh, he brings it. Again, he's somebody, he's going to be playing in the All-State HBCU Legacy Bowl, and a lot of people don't know about him because he doesn't have the stats that necessarily blow you off the map, but he's so well-rounded. I mean, they asked him to play safety, kind of some inside linebacker, outside linebacker stuff, and he does so much to set the table for other people to get the individual stats that, once they get eyes on him and see how good of a football player he is, because physically he's there, like he's put together like an NFL player.
Absolutely.
Like when they see all of the things that he's able to do, and then that leadership.
Yeah.
He is a leader in every sense of the word. I think he's somebody who may get an opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. And I can't forget about my guys up the way with my Eric Hunter, Branch, Morgan State University, Jaden Carter, defensive back, Morgan State. I'm excited to see these guys, not only because I've covered them for the last 4 years, but, they all have that humble mentality, but they're hungry. And they're committed for the opportunity, and they're looking forward to it. And I can't wait. I think this is going to be a really good football game this year.
Well, it's also like Eric Hunter. He just played at the American Bowl, which used to be the NFLPA Bowl, and he was a star. He's put on like 10 pounds since the end of the season. Because remember, he was kind of light. He's about 215, 220-ish. Right. They say now he's closer to 230. and he really showed up playing outside and inside. My guy Brian Baldinger, who I work with, was working that game.
Yeah,
he's just like, Steve, this guy, like the strength in his legs, his ability to shed blocks. He's been coached well. Like he knows how to play certain techniques and everything really well. Like teams were absolutely intrigued by Eric. So again, he's of all the players at the HBCU Legacy Bowl, I'm keeping an eye on in terms of from an NFL purview.
Yeah.
He's the guy. He's the main guy I'm keeping an eye on.
And shout out to Mike Patton. Mike Patton covers Tennessee State University as well as a lot of the other Tennessee teams out there. He just informed me that Morgan State plays Tennessee State next year. So I think I do get an opportunity to go down and see Tennessee State. So I'll definitely be in Nashville next year.
And salute to Mike. He's like you, right, in terms of highlighting these young people, highlighting our HBCUs, highlighting our coaches. Mike's got his podcast like this. And I will always come on Black Podcast, HBCU Podcast, because you guys are doing the real work, right? I'm parachuting in. You guys are doing the real work. And my respect for what you guys do to amplify these young men and these coaches and these universities and these programs, man, hats off to you, Mike Patton, and everybody else who does their thing to keep the consciousness of HBCUs at the forefront of what everybody needs to know.
Absolutely. I definitely appreciate you for those kind words, because that's the ultimate goal, is to really be able to give these guys the limelight that they deserve. But also, like I said earlier, when talking about the Celebration Bowl, is to show that the talent level is there at the HBCU level as well.
It is, but we are in this era of the transfer portal. And more, and it's not just Black college football. It is all non-FBS football. If you're very good at the Division II, the FCS level, someone's probably going to come and grab you. And we've seen that. I mean, look at all of the players who entered the portal from Black colleges.
Yeah.
After this, Andrew Body, from Alabama State, guys like that. And look, I don't blame them, especially with these schools maybe offering more money than these HBCUs can offer. I just hate the fact that a lot of these kids go there like, okay, man, I got my opportunity to go to Arkansas. I got my opportunity to go to Miami. Then you might not play. Or you might be third or fourth on a depth chart, and they're getting you to replace two players they just lost. And so that's one thing you have to be cognizant of. It's one reason why when you're recruiting and you're in the transfer portal or you're recruiting players from high school at HBCUs, you have to offer them the campus experience. You have to let them know that, look, every year there's only one, maybe two players from HBCUs that get drafted. There's maybe 10 or 15 that get opportunities as free agents. Our degree from Bowie, from Howard, from Hampton, from Prairie View, from Grambling is just as impactful as your degree from Michigan or whatever. So they've got to show that campus experience and try to keep the kid there and to let them know that the opportunities to play and to shine at that level could be greater if you stay at the HBCU.
Absolutely. And I wholeheartedly agree with everything that you just said in regards to players, really staying. I understand the opportunity and them wanting to grab the moment now, but, just wait it out. Greater is coming.
Well, you hope so. I mean, that's not – I mean, you don't know. And look, all of us always want to be challenged. And if we think we're the caliber to play at a P4, P5 school, then go for it. Work harder than you've ever worked. Experience maybe some of the things that they have that you don't, but always understand where you came from. Like when I first started college, I was at the University of Missouri. Then I transferred to Howard. So I have a basis of comparison. Howard made me. The credo of HBCUs is go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. And that is something that a lot of people may find out the hard way in terms of, the football stuff may be going great, but the campus experience, it's going to be a lot different, and it may be much more positive, right? I'm not saying it's a negative, but it may be much more positive, but it's going to be a lot different from your experience at that HBCU.
When we look at HBCU Legacy Bowl, one, congratulations. This year you are the play-by-play announcer as well, right? What are you most excited about as a play-by-play announcer for this year's Legacy Bowl?
Well, look, when you call it an all-star game, you're calling the game itself, but it's more so telling the stories. And we're not just telling the stories. Like I work at the NFL Network, right? So I am trying to. This is about to be draft season. So we got Senior Bowl, we got Shrine Bowl. We've got to educate the viewer about who these players are, why they may fit in the NFL,
Absolutely.
like how good of a week they've had at practice, if teams are looking at them, right? And it's a whole thing of showcasing these players as it pertains to what they could do.
Yeah.
And granted the opportunity. Like a lot of these guys have great stories. The majority of kids at HBCUs have played 4 or 5 and now even 6 years, right? They're not early entrants. And so they've got their degrees. They've got all kind of great stories behind it. But it's my job as a play-by-play guy, and Bucky Brooks and Charles Davis, who are in the booth with me, to inform the viewer, hey, this guy Eric Hunter, like he's a real guy. Like he would fit in this type of system, because he can play a multitude of the linebacker positions, right? So we've really got to push those stories and how it could affect the future, while we're also not forgetting about the history as to why these guys are here.
And when you talk about the history, we kind of alluded to these guys earlier. Today, the HBCU Legacy Bowl directors or board came out and they announced the coaches for the game this year, right? You talk about Coach Berry, head coach, South Carolina State, winners of the MEAC. Coach Jackson, head coach of Prairie View A&M, winners of the SWAC. Coach Flowers, head coach, Johnson C. Smith, winners of the CIAA. Then you have Coach Gray, senior head coach of Albany State, winners of the CI. When you look at those coaches, what do each of them bring to the environment to amplify and to pull away from the players for the opportunity that they're about to embark on?
And great, and salute to Quinn Gray. He's now the head coach of Florida A&M University down in the SWAC. He was at Albany State, got promoted to go back to his alma mater. For Shennis Berry, this is his 3rd or 4th time. Remember, he went there both years with Benedict, and he's also been there. He was there last year because of South Carolina State, because we do take the coaches from the conference championship teams. But usually what they'll do is, like, Shennis may step back and be just kind of the overall voice.
Yeah.
Now maybe he'll let Coach Jackson coach him and some of the position coaches from their staffs. But this is where it's so hugely important when you're talking about the coaches. It's not just the players who are having the opportunity to meet with these NFL talent evaluators. It's the coaches.
Yeah.
Like I said, when you have Shennis Berry, who has won and has a presence, somebody, one of these NFL scouts might be like, you know what, we might want to bring this guy here, because him and Alvin Parker from Virginia Union, they're at the East-West Shrine game this year coaching. They've had opportunities to do something like that with some NFL programs, so they're on the radar. So this is now an opportunity for Tremaine Jackson, or for Quinn Gray to get into that cycle, or some of his assistants to get into that network. And that's what this is all about. When Doug Williams and James Shack Harris created the Legacy Bowl, it is all about, as they like to say, bringing the mountain to Muhammad, not giving these NFL teams and scouts an excuse to say, oh, we didn't get to that campus or this and that. It's here. The food is on the table. Do you want to eat it? And that's what the great thing is about the Legacy Bowl.
I love that analogy. The food is on the table. Do you want to eat it?
Yep.
Another part of our show today, man, is a big congratulations to you. You were inducted into the Black College Hall of Fame this year. How did that feel? Like, just take us through the moments when you found out that you were actually being inducted.
I mean, it's incredibly humbling. I mean, look, I am Charles Davis, and I co-MC this event every year in Atlanta in June. And so you see all the legends that are there: Doug Williams, James Shack Harris, Art Shell, Willie Lanier, Sky Walker, Willie Totten, all of these guys. You go in every year and you're like, man, the greatness and the history in this room. Robert Brazile, Donnie Shell, Mel Blunt. It's crazy. But then you also have some of the younger players, the Robert Porches, the Darius Shack Leonards, some of these guys who come back, and you're just like, man, there's so much history in this room. And I'm on the selection committee, so these guys pull a fast one on me. We're
so you had no idea?
I had no idea. I'm on the selection. So I'm fighting to get Nick Collins in, and we're fighting to get Tyrone Poole in, and all these other guys. And so we come up with the class. So I know the class. And then one day, Doug and Shaq called me. I'm driving home from the gym. And they're like, hey, there's a new member in the class as well. And I'm like, and they said, Steve Wyche. And I said, Ted White? Because, I've been fighting like hell to get Ted White into the hall. I said, Ted White got in? He's like, no, Steve Wyche. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then they said, congratulations. And I was like, oh, my goodness. Wow. Because, again, I know, like, it means the world to me. The HBCU world means everything to me.
Absolutely.
Shaq and Doug are my heroes. I mean, and I say that with the utmost reverence. And then in what we do, like Charlie Neal, the voice of Black sports, going back from his days at ESPN and BET, and to know I'm going in as a contributor, and I'll be shoulder to shoulder with Charlie Neal, who I got to call a game with for the HBCU Go.
Yeah.
Knowing that Bill Nunn and people like that were contributors, man, it's, you never know. I've not been nominated for many awards in anything I've done in my career. Like Warriors would ever nominate other people, which is cool. Right. I am your utility infielder. But so for something like this to come my way and to go into a Hall of Fame with so many people who mean so much to me, it is humbling. I don't feel deserving. And to go in with Tyrone Poole and Nick Collins and Rudy Hubbard and Eddie Robinson, man, it's and Jimmy Smith,
right?
Oh, this is like, it's like, who's bringing down the property value of this guy? This guy.
No, you pour in so much that a lot of us can't give, and that you've given so much, and you've been an avenue and an advocate for so long, and so well deserving of the award that even be able for me to have this opportunity to even talk with you the first time before the induction, and then being able to have this with you now is major. It gives me hope, right? It gives me inspiration, and it tells me to keep going. It tells me to not allow the rainy days to outweigh, all the sun that I've had. So I thank you for all that you've done and being a highlight and being the true advocate to HBCU athletics.
Well, that means a lot. And, I've told you this. I've told Mike Patton this. I've told, Keisha from her Black sport, like, I'm here for you. I didn't get here without the David Aldridges and Michael Wilbons and Brian Burwells and guys like that pulling me up and vouching for me. And so anything I can do, whether it's appearing on the podcast, recommending you, like, that's what we're here for. Because if we don't do it, others won't. Again, that's why I'm so big on people just honoring HBCUs, because we are vital to the fabric of this country.
Absolutely.
And people better need to understand that. And we're not the alternative option, right? Oh, well, HBCUs are great if you can't get into here. No, we should be the first option. And that's I think the message we need to continue to push.
Now, the only NFL question I have for you.
No, fire away, man. I'm good. I'm here for you. You got me.
Man, listen. So, in Stiller country, Coach Mike Tomlin steps down. He walks away. A couple days ago, the Rooneys announced that Coach Mike McCarthy is going to take over. What were you surprised when Mike Tomlin stepped down? Did you see that coming? And then two, what are your thoughts on the hiring of Coach Mike McCarthy?
I was a little surprised, but I think the smoke was a little too thick. There's too much conversation about him possibly stepping down. I spoke to Omar Khan, the general manager, a couple months ago. He's like, we are not firing Mike Tomlin. If he is not back, that's of his own volition. So maybe Mike was like, you know what, it's time. Yeah. It's time. And you can tell the way they built the roster this year with Aaron Rodgers and some of the moves they made, where they kind of broke their traditional roster building by going out and getting free agents and making trades. But this was the year they were going to make that push. And if it didn't work out, then maybe it is time. So I was a little surprised, but not shocked. Okay, we'll put it that way. And then the hiring of Mike McCarthy, not surprising at all. I actually like the hire. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Mike McCarthy. Like, when has he lost? When has he lost? He's won a Super Bowl. He can put together a very good staff. Plus, he's worked in the hierarchical dynamic that the Steelers have. He's done it in Green Bay, in Dallas to a degree. I mean, Art Rooney's not going to be doing post-game press conferences in the locker room like Jerry Jones did in Dallas. But Mike will put a structure in place, much like Mike Tomlin. It's not going to be a radical shift. No. But getting an offensive guy, I think, is something the Steelers wanted to do. But none of it means anything if they can't find their quarterback.
And, for me, I'll be honest. For me, I wasn't against it. I think I was when I hear Steelers country, as much as I heard the Fire Tomlin chants, whether it's in chats, on posts or whatnot, and then, seeing, I thought with this year, I honestly thought that they were really just going to rebuild, right? You bring in a younger coach, like a Charlize or a Shula, right? And then I
Right.
think we have 12 draft picks, and I think we just got a couple compensatory. So I honestly was looking at it, okay, this is about to be like a really just a fresh blood, through and through. And one of the critical things that I hear a lot is the fact that we have not won a playoff game in such a long time. Neither has Mike McCarthy. So a lot of the things have seems like it's been a trade. It's been an even trade. We let go of one Mike to bring in another Mike who also haven't had a playoff win in some time.
I think that's fair. I do think that's fair to say that, hey, are they going to keep on trying to, of course, every team wants to get to the playoffs every year and win playoff games. But sometimes you do have to do a reset. We saw the Rams do a reset and bring it back real quick.
Yeah.
Right. So, that year they did the F them picks. They win the Super Bowl. They stand down for a year. They build it back by nailing the draft for a couple of years, and they're back. But they had the quarterback. It all starts with getting the quarterback. And it's like I said, none of this is going to mean anything. But, they broke from Steelers coaching hire tradition. Mike McCarthy's not going to be coaching them for 18 years.
Yeah.
Right? Like you said, he hadn't won playoff games. And like Mike Tomlin, a lot of that's not on
Absolutely.
him.
It's not on the coach.
A lot of it is not on him.
Yeah.
I have tremendous respect for Mike McCarthy. I have tremendous respect for him. It's not sexy. He's, rarely do coaches get a third bite of the apple. But I think it's a little nostalgic in the Steelers way because he is from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But, he also might have been the guy that they felt most comfortable with because it's not going to be a radical shift. And that's just, that's just who they are. You look at Baltimore, they're not making a radical shift. John Harbaugh is out, but the guy they brought in used to be there. Coach for Jim Harbaugh at Michigan and with the Chargers. So there's this kind of A and B connection.
Yeah, similarities.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that stability, I think, means a lot to the ownership of those organizations.
Well, man, like I said, I'm not going to hold you, Steve, because you have been around the world and done some, and you got a lot of work in store for you. But I definitely thank you for taking this moment to talk with me. I definitely look forward to meeting you personally at the HBCU Legacy Bowl. And then I just thought about it. I'll see you again in Pittsburgh for the if you're going to be there for the NFL draft. I'll actually be there as well, give us some coverage as well then if you're going to be in town.
Right. I will not be there, but I look forward to seeing you down in New Orleans. And for everybody, check in. If you can, go to the All-State HBCU Legacy Bowl. It's a thrill ride. But if not, watch it on NFL Network. Listen to Terrence do his thing about it and talk about these guys. And thank you, brother, for having me on so much. I really do appreciate you.
Absolutely. And something that you just said, I wanted to say this while looking good in the camera. I said this in a recorded video. I went to the game when Norfolk State played Dell State, and I watched the house get packed with over 40,000 people from various universities who didn't have a dog in a fight. There's no reason why we can't do the same thing for the HBCU Legacy Bowl. Let's give this platform the utmost attention and desire like that it deserves, because this too is a level and it's an appreciation and a give back to all of those who have poured into it. So if you're able to make it out to New Orleans, I definitely urge you, to do so. I look forward to seeing you. If not, tune in on the NFL Network. It's going down. Y'all know what it is. It's your host, Pitts and Push Sports Talk Radio, Bowie TV, Pitt Sports Zone. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Stay warm.